Will, how did the deal get done with the Mets and Bo Bichette?
Well, Sal, you heard me say it a bunch of times that the Mets were always going to be in the market for a star player in this free agent class. It just had to work in their favor. And what I mean by that is they wanted it to be on a short-term basis. So that's why they went and chased Kyle Tucker. But that's also how they ended up with Bo Bichette as well. While they were talking with Kyle Tucker, they were also having meetings about Bo Bichette and with Bo Bichette because they didn't really know exactly whether they were going to get Kyle Tucker or not. So this was not a case of, say, hey, Kyle Tucker chose the Dodgers late Thursday night, and then all of a sudden Friday morning, Steve Cohen and David Stearns got on the phone with Bo Bichette and said, hey, what do you think about the Mets? That's not how this worked out. The Mets and Bo Bichette first connected, from what I understand, during the GM meetings, which is in November, actually. And that was one of their first conversations. And then from there, from what I've gathered, they've stayed in touch. And then this month, even as early as last week or so, they got on a video meeting and they discussed the fit further. And from the Mets' perspective, they heard a lot of great things from Bo Bichette. They really like his drive. They really like his character, the presence that he may bring to that clubhouse. And obviously, they love the bat. This, as you mentioned earlier, Sal, it's a guy who can hit for a high average. That's a little bit unusual in this day and age. But he's somebody that they can count on for that. He brings a lot to that lineup, and it's just a great fit as a right-handed bat too. The only concern I really had for this is third base. It's a completely new position for him, and that could be a little concerning for a team that said, hey, we want to be better defensively, but this team likes his athleticism. They think that they could get the most out of him at third base with Carlos Mendoza and new bench coach Kai Correa. So there's a lot to like about Bichette. To me, it's a good fit, and it's great to see the Mets pull in a star from this free agent class.
Yeah, obviously all to talk about the run prevention stuff. Now you look at the middle, or not the middle, the corners of that infield, and basically no experience there. Are the Mets confident with their defense on the infield, Will? Yeah, I wasn't looking at Bichette as a guy who would be an answer for them because they were kind of log jamming the infield. Are they confident defensively with Polanco at first and now Bichette at third?
I'm with you. I didn't think of Bo Bichette as this on paper natural fit for the Mets. I really didn't. I thought in my head, okay, maybe they could do third base. David Stearns, as I've said before, has in the past been creative with his lineup compilations in the infield, but he had already done that with Jorge Polanco at first base. So now we're talking about, okay, you have Bo Bichette at third base, you have Jorge Polanco at first base. Neither of those players has started a game at those respective positions, so you're asking a lot there. Plus, you may move, say, Brett Beatty to left field or something like that. So all of a sudden, you're talking about three players with positions that they're kind of unfamiliar with. So I think it's asking a lot, actually. But these guys, in the case of Polanco and Bichette, like I said before, they're very athletic guys who have spent their entire career in the infield and up the middle for that matter. So like when you have guys who have done that in the past, it's not all that unusual to move a position. The thing with Bo Bichette is the arm and how that's going to play at third base. I've had a couple of scouts already reach out and say, that's the one thing to keep an eye on here. But I will say, with Kai Correa, Carlos Mendoza, they could work with Bo Bichette on taking the best angles to balls, whether that's coming in on them, retreating on them, whatever the case is. And maybe they could get the most out of that arm of Bo Bichette. So, yes, there are some concerns defensively, but for me, the offense outweighs whatever concerns there are. It's a good trade-off, and it's one that you have to make if you're the Mets.
Yeah, and let's not forget, it can't be worse than what it was a year ago. The Mets didn't exactly have gold glovers at first base or third base, so it's not going to take much to improve that. All right, we love the addition of Bo Bichette. You made us very happy today, Will, with that news. What's next?
I'll try to do more for you, Sal, eventually. I'm not sure exactly who it's going to be, but we'll see. Look, the Mets still have plenty of work to do, right? There's the outfield that we just talked about. I'd be surprised. Now, this is just me speculating here. I'd be surprised if they did not add to their outfield. I really would. I could see them adding a left fielder or a center fielder, perhaps. Could be via trade. There are still some free agents out there that could be good fits as well. So that's one area that I would suspect, even if they do think of Brett Beatty as, say, that Jeff McNeil type who could bounce around, maybe do a little bit of left field, a little bit of third base, a little bit of second base, a little bit of first base. I would still say that you need to get somebody else in that outfield. And I would even include, if even with the fact that you're mentioning Carson Bench as part of that mix, you still could use some help there. Beyond that, obviously, there's a starting rotation. We've spent all offseason talking about the idea that they want to add somebody who they could slide into the first half of their rotation. They still haven't done that, so I would expect them to continue to explore those avenues, whether that's through trade or free agency, to maybe get some more supplement that rotation a little bit better than what they currently have.